All right, what is up, everybody? We are back heading into this Friday afternoon here, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Certainly from James, he says it's the gong show for all of us inside the trading room. I hit the gong sound effect just to start this meeting. Great to see everybody, though. James, Pat, Greg, Dennis, John, Stefan, Chuck, Donnie, great to see you all, and all of us tuning in on social media still. Great to see you guys. Welcome on back. So without further ado, the MTP ended up making a nice breakout. Oh, rather, actually, first here, I'm sorry, it's on my other screen here. I got FAMI squeezing back up to the highs of the day right now. FAMI ended up making a nice pop going into the market open. We didn't really focus on this as much. The MTP was really our big winner from this morning. I was going to get to that to begin, but FAMI ended up making a nice pop after the open, ended up making a squeeze back up to the highs here, as you guys could see. Let me ask for all of us here inside the trading room, where do we have resistance on this trade? I'm not even going to say. Why don't you guys tell me? Where do we have resistance on this trade heading into the afternoon? Might be easy for one to say, oh, just the high of the day, 147, but not just that. Yeah, Pat saying 150, Chelsea saying 150. Yeah, you got a 103,000 share order on the S currently, and that's from the NASDAQ alone. Actually 98 total orders, 96, 97 total orders from the NASDAQ alone right at that price. So yeah, I mean, 147 is the high, but 150 is our major resistance heading into this afternoon. Perhaps it ended up just breaking above a minor resistance, perhaps around 125, 130. But for right now, our major resistance heading into this afternoon on this FAMI trade is right off the 150. So for right now, easily, we'll just put this on our list, throw this on our list. I don't have Benzinga Pro up right now just to copy and paste the news like I did from this morning. I apologize for that, but I want to jump to this. I wanted to jump to this to begin. But yeah, the MTP I wanted to get to here more so than anything. What goes up does come back down. This is one of our better trades after the market opened up, even with this being where it is right now. We, of course, took the breakout once this ended up breaking above resistance off of 3. So, whereas we didn't focus as much on the FAMI right at 930, our eyes were glued on this MTP. So for a stock like MTP that was up as much as it is, even still at 47%, pretty much where it had opened up from, you would still expect a pullback within the market opening up like the first couple of minutes. So notice what happened here at 930. Ended up kind of shimmying around at first. It looks like right around 280. The major resistance leading into the open was right off of 3. So it ended up making the initial pop over 3. Took a second attempt, broke through it, held over 3 nicely thereafter, and then from that point ended up breaking higher. Made a fantastic run up towards 4, nice sharp pop over 4, but eventually that was short-lived. Ended up making the pop, the hold, then the break back under 4, and from there the wheels fell off on this trade. So the MTP, unfortunately, we see this happen a lot, guys. I mean, MTP was great from the morning, but at this point right now, it's very easy for me to say. And, I don't know if I had mentioned this directly from the morning meeting, but, I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends up crashing much lower from where it had opened up going into this afternoon. All right, so FAMI, MTP, we started off with here during this afternoon meeting. Our eyes were also, not to make this rhyme, our eyes were on skies. SKYS ended up making a nice pop at least just a moment ago. Ended up breaking out after the market opened up from 320 up towards just about 5. Has had a really tough time trying to break higher, as you guys could see, at least here. So for right now, it's not to say this is going to fully dump off, but man, this is way too shaky. Not even around the highs trying to move higher, but even around 5. $5 you would imagine to be some sense of resistance, some sense of support. Just from the chart, it clearly seems like it's just not acting that like strong of a level. Very weak, cutting through in and out, in and out. I'm not a fan of that. So, maybe later on today it will end up acting as a stronger resistance. If we happen to see a bigger order on the ask. I'm not going to put my eggs in that basket, though. So I think for right now, we're actually going to move away from the skies trade for the meantime. All right, guys, I was interested in this heading into the afternoon, but now looking at this kind of cut through 5 on the way up, make this pop and drop, crash back under 5, it doesn't look too good. All right, got a shout here on YouTube from one of our regulars here trading PC asking about Occidental already. Hey, it's a steady moving stock, tradable. We followed this stock going back into March when, pretty much everything fell off. So, this is one that we're pretty familiar with. Yeah, I mean, heading into the afternoon, I'll get back to this. I wouldn't be surprised if I just throw this on our list with the way this is trending going into the afternoon, but I'd rather just go from top to bottom right now first, just to see if there's anything that's a bit more active, that's up or down a little bit more, that's setting itself up for a more volatile move, perhaps. Chuck is also calling out here. This is inside our trading room. GMPX. All right, so I'll jump to GMPX, then I'll go from top to bottom. Yeah, this one's making a nicer break, at least for the afternoon. So GMPX, much like Oxy, we are pretty familiar with. GMPX, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll do my spiel about this right now, much like I did on IGC the other day. Whereas IGC was like one of the first pot stocks, quote unquote, that we ended up trading going back in like 2018. GNPX, guys, I think this was the first stock that reported news off of like potential coronavirus vaccine or testing or anything of that nature. So this was the famous day back January 21st. I mean, if not this day, then the next day, we ended up seeing all of these other companies, Co-Diagnostics, CODX, INO, VXRT, SRNE. I mean, all of these that we've been trading this week. Ever since this day, all of them ended up making big moves. So this was the first one to start them all off. That's just what I remember out of this stock at this trade. Yeah, I mean, easy for me to just put this on our list right now. This is a good call from Chuck. I like this one. All right, so we'll go from top to bottom. We did cover a few of these on the top of the gainers part already. Just MESO we'll kind of jump to next and see where we go. MESO looks pretty weak, although it's kind of holding support off of 17. We're kind of just hoping and praying for a big breakout going into the afternoon. I mean, it has a nice chart pattern here, kind of making this rounded bottom once, this rounded bottom twice, a higher bottom compared to another. If it were to break over 18, that would be potentially the spot to take this from. Let's see, did this already break 18? Moved up to it. Looks like it filled an order at 18, bigger volume spike, bounced from there. Yeah, for right now, I'll pass on this trade, guys. I mean, looks like the volume completely died off going from the morning into the afternoon. And with this kind of shaking off 18, maybe we'll make the next attempt, but for right now, we'll just skip over it. All right, MTP, just wanted to jump back to this one. Yeah, it's still kind of just stalling out there, pretty much right where it had opened up. Club, nice cheapie, broke out earlier. Party City having a day. We might have a party on party. So PRTY, we are familiar with the stock too, actually more so in the sense of this stock breaking all-time lows, if I'm not mistaken, going back into the end of last year. Right here, breaking down off of, I think this was earnings. Pre-COVID, and ended up breaking all-time lows. This was a shortable stock at the time. Ended up only continuing to break lower, going back into the early parts of this year. So for what it's worth, nice range on the daily chart, and then even here, just with this trending right near the highs right now, exactly where we would want it to be, just like the GMPX. So and just like the FAMI, I guess too. So yeah, PRTY, definitely a strong list so far, guys. Here. EBON, low float runner from earlier today, or at least pop, ended up dumping off after the open. I guess it found some support off of what appears to be 525, moved up pretty sharply since. I guess better late than never. I mean, hopefully this only continues to squeeze up for us. It's still kind of holding a higher low, although it's been, kind of pulling back here a bit. I wouldn't even be surprised if it breaks lower from the last little dip, drops down to 6, and then moves back up. But yeah, given the recent activity, it's trading a hell of a lot of volume right now over the last 20 minutes. EBON, and actually, most importantly, how about this? I didn't even realize this until right now. EBON, for those of us on TradeStation at least, doesn't say HB next to the ticker, does it? So it means it's shortable, in fact. So if this ends up crapping out the other way, as I always like to say, this would be a hell of a dump off. So yeah, either way, this EBON, pretty tradable going into this afternoon. What's funny? I was going to start this meeting off. I had this line. I was going to say, today, I mean, this is as Friday will get. I don't know about that right now. I mean, we had a decent morning. It slowed down, pretty early on as expected. But I'll tell you, nice start to this list. Good call from Chuck. All right. What else do we have here? Keep going down pretty quickly at this point. AGRX, familiar name. Ooh, nice move up. All right, cool. I guess good timing. right near the highs, at the highs, of course, 290, triple top, in fact. Next resistance, I would assume to be off of 3, and even from there, 302. Yeah, AGRX, another one. I feel like if there's going to be a lot of these just on the percent gainers list, we might have like a classic 30 stock watch list here. What else do we have? Chuck called out the GMPX. That was number 15. I saw that here. So let me just actually see. ZSAN, cheapy. Kind of, moving up well, a little slow. Some bigger orders on the book for this to cut through. Skipping down here, guys, my Bitcoin stocks, or rather my blockchain stocks for that matter. Mara, we had this on the morning watch list. So, more of a dud after the open. It ended up finding support over 350. So, ended up moving up nicely from that price. I know a few of us ended up trading this off the breakout from around 380, 390-ish up towards 4 and above. Yeah, for right now, I mean, it looks interesting just given that it's kind of still near the highs of the day. Looks too slow, though. I mean, we ended up seeing, Mara and Riot both make these rare afternoon moves, at least heading into the afternoons yesterday. They normally don't make this type of move going into the close. So, this one today, it's kind of beginning to inch up a little bit more up to 4. I'll give this one final look at the very end, I guess. I mean, it looks like a great setup off of 4 if it breaks through this level going up, but it's failed us too many times during the afternoon, so for right now, we'll pass. All right, we'll hop over to losers list, guys. The Dow is beginning to slump off a little bit. We'll see if there's anything that's down that looks good. Otherwise, if there's anything up, down, left, right, otherwise, just let me know. Not looking good here. IGC from this morning. This was on our morning watch list as well. Dumped off after the open, found support, which was pretty big support from yesterday as well, I think. Or if it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before as well. And yeah, it was the day before. Let me jump to the chart here really fast. I got to do a little bit of this. All right, so IGC, this was one of our better trades today too. In fact, it doesn't look like it. Ended up dropping off at the open, pulled back to 190. I find that important because 190 was a really big level back a couple of days ago before this ended up making its huge extension. Ended up breaking out from 2, but ultimately from consolidation and resistance from 190-ish. So it ended up bouncing very nicely from that past resistance, moved back up a bit, but obviously now looking at this, yeah, not looking too pretty. Still good to keep on the side. Next week, I'll just, take a look at it in pre-market, just say, hey, what's IGC doing? We ended up trading this, like I'd said, back in 2018. I bring this up because it wasn't just the one pop and that was it. This stock was one of the better trades that we had going back into 2018. Went from like just pennies or like $1 or so all the way up towards like 15. So hopefully there's a lot more left to this run in the long haul here. All right, we'll check in. Whoops, I meant to actually click IQ. BTAI, I guess, dropped off here. IQ. This was on our list, but with some of the other ones that were moving a lot better, we took our eyes off this quick. Yeah, this one looks like an ugly chart. Just looks like motionless right now at 1850. Yeah, I'm going to pass. All right. Maybe a couple more guys that I see that are shortable, but if there's anything else, just type it in the chat board. Just let me know. I'm not going to force any stocks on our list here at this point. It's a Friday. It's a summer Friday for that matter. And actually, we have a pretty good list still. So, again, I'd be pretty content with just these 5. SQ dropping off, says John M. Yeah, I mean, a little pricey, not down a whole lot percent-wise. Tradable. It's moving. And then we'll, I guess, jump back to like the Oxy, the Skies trade, a couple that we had on the quote unquote side. I'd say the same thing, like, Oxy right there. Oh, whoops, Skies, SKYS. Yeah, it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still kind of holding consolidation, a higher low from the last break. I guess we don't have too big of a list. I'll tag this on at the end, but I don't have really high hopes on it. If it ends up breaking out over 5 one last time convincingly, then we'll finally get, our run, I feel. But again, I feel like the FAMI stock, the GMPX, which Chuck just picked up 12 cents on in our trading room. I'll jump to that really fast. But, I feel like those are better stocks to watch at first. Chuck just picked up 12 cents a share on this trade. It looks like he got in at 407. Nice in and out. All right, cool. He says, thanks. What about SXTC, or is it too cheap? I got that from YouTube here. Nothing's really too cheap. We just tend not to focus on the stocks below a buck as much. It's moving up nicely. It's up 7%. I'll actually put this on at the end here in terms of like volatility and activity. Yeah, this is doing all right. Just know your worth on a trade like this. We're not as likely to get 10, 15 cents per share on a stock like this compared to a stock even like GMPX just before. Up there's the FAMI up to 150. Just made the pop and drop. Great call from Leo. And with that, guys, I think we'll conclude. So for all of us tuning in on social media, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys would like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, make sure that you guys like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And then otherwise, just join us right here in the trading room. For all of us here in the trading room, at least, I'm going to take us going into the close. All right, been with us all day. And then at least at the very end, much like on these summer Fridays, I'll close it out with a little Jimmy Buffett. All right, guys, take care. Enjoy.